Hi, it's Melinda from Hope When There Was None. How are you doing today? And I hope this day finds you very well. Well, I'm coming onto you today live for I believe it's part 4. Now this one, I'll be honest with you, I really don't want to do. And even I have some guests that are going to be coming up over the next couple weeks. And while I am honored and deeply blessed to have them share their stories, it's tough. Anytime anyone shares a story of an abusive situation, it's tough. But this one is really hard for me, this subject. So I am going to talk to you today about sexual abuse. I haven't really dug into my past on this topic. Now I'm talking about childhood. Something I've got goosebumps now talking about this, but it's something I've subconsciously made myself forget. There are things that have popped up since I started this journey, since I started sharing, that I really am not ready to confront yet. So I'll be totally honest with you. And I've shared a lot. I've shared a lot of stuff with everybody, but there was so much shame in different things I haven't shared with you related to my past. Now, I'm not going to bear all right now. That's between me, myself, and right now the Lord. So right now I want to dig into what does sexual abuse look like. Now, for some people, sexual abuse might just mean rape. It's more than that. It's more than just being forced into that sexual act. It's also, especially if it's a man and a woman, a partner, a boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever that situation is. It's more than that. Now, I heard when I was talking with the police, they asked what did I experience, and I says, well, I was raped. I was raped multiple occasions, sometimes for hours, and I went through because they wanted to know more, and I shared that with them, and they're like, but this is your husband. So I don't know if there's like this fine line that states somewhere in somebody's warped mind, that if your partner forces sex on you, that it's okay because you're married. I don't know, and that kind of aggravates me because no is no. Doesn't matter if it's your husband, your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. No is no. So that made me mad. It really did. It got me really aggravated. It made me very mad. And I'm just going to leave it right there. So now what I'm going to talk about right now, these are just things that could happen. Now, there are signs of sexual abuse, especially if it's in children. You might find a child maybe acting inappropriately sexually. There might be masturbation. There might be fondling themselves. Again, this is really hard for me to bring it up. There could be maybe they have a hard time sitting down, or they might have frequent urinary tract infections, or maybe, sadly, if it's something else, they might have a lot of constipation. They could have damage in their anal area. Again, this is a tough topic, so please, if you have children around, don't let them hear this. Don't listen to this publicly. I'm not going to get into some crude language or anything of that nature, but this is things that happen, okay? Some of this stuff's happened to me. Some of this has happened, I know, to a lot of other folks as well. Now, there's inappropriate touching. There's masturbation. Now, some of these could be making the victim perform these acts alone, or perform them with the abuser, okay? So there's rape. There is a voyeurism. Now, this person might want you to look at other people, or they might just watch you, and there's a lot of fantasy with this too, in many cases. Now, they might make the victim perform sexual acts on others. They may have, I have some notes down here, they may have victims perform sexual acts, maybe watch them instead with other people, so kind of like a voyeuristic thing too. You might get to the point where your partner then makes you become a prostitute. And you might be wondering, if you haven't experienced any of this, any type of abuse at all, you might be rational or thinking in your mind, this is crazy. How can an adult woman or adult man do this stuff with somebody? How can they, no, and that's it. It doesn't work like that. When you're in an abusive situation, you're fearing, and a lot of times you're fearing for your life or the life of those around you. Maybe it's your children or your animals, and you live in this chronic state of kind of survival mode. So you will do what, in many cases, you will do things that you don't necessarily want to do, that you really don't want to do, that you would never ask anyone else to do. You do things to keep yourself alive, to kind of push yourself through whatever the act is or whatever that abuse is, so it's done and over with. And I know it's making me feel sick to my stomach right now just chatting about this. But this is things you do. I went out myself to find my now ex a wife, a sister wife. There was swinging involved. You as a victim might do things you're not comfortable with, you don't want to do. You might cross those boundaries into having to perform these acts with somebody else. You might have to create, maybe your abuser's creating videos or and sharing them with other people in the circle. There could be physical abuse as well as a sexual abuse and battery in this as well. The victim might be forced into the prostitution, into performing sexual acts on other people, or maybe watching explicit videos or content that you are just not comfortable with, that you don't want to do, but you are going to do that. There could be verbal sexual harassment. You could be forced to dress provocatively. I had to, if the kids weren't around, in many cases, I had to run around either naked or with very little on. Now, there could be penetration with objects. Now, again, disclaimer, you don't want, as a victim, you don't want to do any of this. And many times you feel so helpless that you can't. Now, in my case, if I fought against my abuser, there were repercussions. In many cases, there are. If you deny your abuser whatever satisfaction they're getting out of this, there could be repercussions. It could be a physical, it could be maybe taking away privileges. Yes, depending on your level of abuse here. And please don't compare my story to yours. Don't do that. Don't belittle your story at all. Don't think, well, man, she went through that. In my story, he forced himself on me a few times. No, that's still abuse. That is still wrong. That's still bad. So don't, your partner might have raped you for 5 or 6 hours. My friend Brianna, she experienced that, Miss Bree, and her partner abused her for hours. And I don't think my story is any less powerful than hers. And I got the chills because Bree is amazing. And I'm going to cry because she is such a beautiful soul. And to hear, and even Callie, if you've heard Callie and myself, Bree, on the Bill and Callie show, please listen to that. Their stories are just so inspiring on how they healed and fought back and so on. And I don't want to cry on this, but these are things that we're a tribe now, and we've just connected, and we're healing. And it's just amazing how once you kind of get your story out there, there's this amazing tribe of other women and men too that just come forward to give you support and love and help you heal. So again, there might be attempts, let me jump back in. There might be attempts to penetrate you, but maybe they can't. It's a public situation. It's kind of a hurry thing, so they're kind of grinding on you. There could be unwelcome or unwanted advances. Maybe it's somebody that you're just starting to see and or date, and they're starting to do a lot of these things. So if any of this is happening to you, these are red flags too. There could be bestiality. No, I didn't experience that, thank goodness, but there could be bestiality. The abuser, now this one, the abuser might watch porn. They might have pornographic material around. That could be anybody. I had a porn addiction. I had gotten to the point because of my partner starting, and I can't blame it on him because when he wasn't around, this is stuff I looked at, because I had a warped sense of, after a while in my mind, I was associating that with love, and it wasn't. It's now I know that was not healthy love. What those things are, porn and things like that, that's not healthy love. That's not a healthy relationship or anything of that nature. So, but you can have healthy relationship and be into the BDSM I know plenty of people that are into that kind of lifestyle. I know people that watch pornography and or have toys and so on. They have healthy relationships. So I'm not talking about this. And this is to the far extreme. Like if I didn't perform, if I didn't have my hands cuffed, if I didn't allow him to spank me, if I didn't wear certain things, there were repercussions. There were different things that I experienced, and that is to the far extreme. This is what I'm talking about with the sexual abuse, okay? So again, I'm not talking about a healthier, hey, you guys are experimenting together, that sort of thing, where you have boundaries. This is to the far back up to the extreme. Now, your abuser might make inappropriate remarks or comments about other people. They might brush up against you. There could be cyber sex. There could be sexting, oral sex. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe that's something you don't want to. Again, a lot of these things, you're saying no. You don't want to perform these. You already said no. You're clear. You didn't want to do it. They're going to perform these. They're going to do these or make you do them. Even if you are saying no, they have absolutely no respect for boundaries. There could be exhibitionism. And again, there are some people that are just like that. And, they like doing that. So I'm just saying, if it's somebody like you're in a pool, in the family pool, and all of a sudden your partner's yanking down your pants and you're like, no, I don't want to do this. It's something that they're wanting to do. Again, they're not respecting your boundaries enough to say, okay, you don't want to do this. Okay. So it's a different level. So again, many of these things you can also find, sadly, in children. Many of these things are done to children, and if you need help with the signs and so on, RAIN is a big website you can go ahead and look into. Please call your local shelter if you see any signs your child is exhibiting, like bedwetting for so on. Maybe they're terrified when this person comes around. Perhaps they've tried to tell you and you just might be thinking they're making it up. Please, please, please listen. These babies, they aren't making it up. And please listen to the kids, okay? If you have some kind of sense, if you have some kind of inner sense that this stuff is going on, you can't pressure them. I went through in my alleged situation as well. You can't force them to say this is going on, but please look out for the signs. Trust your gut. Trust your instinct. Now, Miss Natasha's going to come on Saturday, and she's going to share her story, and oh my gosh, I'm just going to cry. Her story is so powerful as well. And just how she's healed, how she's come back from that. And even confronted her abuser. It's like, yes, you go, girl. But sadly, there's many of us that haven't been able to get that peace, get that closure. I encourage you to journal. I encourage you to reach out to counselors, reach out to therapists, reach out to organizations, shelters, find support groups in your area. I am near the Rensselaer area. There's a North Central Crisis Center, North Rural Crisis Center in my area, and they do have a adult sexual support group, abuse support group in our area. And so you can call the crisis center in our area, and they'll be able to set up those that, I'm sorry, I'm all kind of wonky right now. They will set up the meeting, or they'll tell you where that meeting is. They can also help you with different resources. There is St. Jude House that's pretty near me as well. I was a guest there several occasions. Many of the shelters, the women's shelters, do have resources to help you, to support you, to guide you, to get you back on your feet. If you've experienced any of these that I've already chatted about. So I've hit abuse, what abuse is. That's a wrong way of saying it, Melinda. I hit abuse. Scratch that. I touched on the topic of abuse, also emotional abuse, financial abuse, and now sexual abuse. There is more. And sadly, there is more. But I'm going to go ahead and next week and chat about another sign of abuse and what's involved in that. So I'm going to let you go. Again, it's a real tough subject. It hits very close to home. Again, there's a lot of stuff in my past that I haven't quite dug into. I'm not really comfortable with this subject. This makes me a little uncomfortable to chat about. It's just very dark, and especially when it happens to children, I know several survivors that have made peace with their abusers. I'm not going to mention them on camera here. And I applaud them. I really do. I know several that have actually become caregivers or taken care of their abusers when they were older and they can't take care of themselves. You know, I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know if I can do that now. I am a Christian woman. I haven't made it to that level of forgiveness yet. I'm sorry, Lord. And even things, I don't know. I still have a hard time dealing with the alleged stuff that I know that could have happened. I'm not mentioning names, but I even have a hard time with that. Even though I say the words that I forgive him. You know, sometimes I just take it back, and I don't know. I know I'm going to let God sort that out, and I have to. I have to give it to Him, and I can't take it back. But this is a rough subject for me, and I know for a lot of you as well. But if you see these signs in your children, if you have these signs and say, well, this person never really did anything to me. They just masturbated in front of me, or they just exposed themselves. They maybe you saw them at a function at a bar or something, and they always open their coat or something like that. Don't think that, oh, well, that's it. That's just all. They didn't rape me. They didn't sodomize me or something like that. Or, hey, it was just oral. That doesn't count. Yeah, it does. It's all sexual abuse. It all counts. And you matter. You count. This is Melinda from Hope When There Was None. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And if you can, please share this or share awareness to the page. I would greatly appreciate that. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you need to talk, please, how can I serve you? How can I help you? Can I pray for you? Please contact me off camera. You're more than welcome to do that. If you're watching this as a replay, do a hashtag flashlight or a little light. Let's do some fire for this one. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. I love you. Take care of you, and I believe in you. You are brave and amazing. Bye.